stuff is so much easier to get to like this. What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday the 7th. On Wednesday the 8th, we is back in the dyno. We're checking out that Dynojet kit, and also I want to have a go with that wrapped up DB killer shoved down the end and see what's what. So anyway, we got to get the thing dyno ready, which means a day of electrics today, because I want to turn the battery round, and I also raised up the battery tray just a little bit. The wiring don't reach anymore, so we need to get busy and get stuff changed and, you know, get the bugger running again. And then somehow I've got to see if it will fit in the van. I'm not convinced. Right, get to it, I suppose. We don't need that anymore. Peachy. Okay, so I've had it running. All sounds good. Fires up and, you know, warm it through and it ticks over, blah, 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 blah. So that's all peachy. I'm just topping the battery up again, just because we're going on the dyno. Having a low battery does make a difference. I'm not saying it is low, because it basically ain't. But I just like to top things up like this before we take it to a dyno, just so we're in the best place possible, really. But all I've literally done is extended cables just so it can run. All this lot still needs neatening. Well, some of them need neatening up. Some of them is as they're going to be. But, you know, you get the gist. Right, so next bit, I need to have a look at what's in the van. I think there's a gearbox and stuff in there. I'm still using Jack's Caddy. I've got no idea if this is going to fit in there. That's going to be the next thing. Well, I think I've got to empty it first. Right. Right then, does ASBO go in the back of a caddy? Yes, he does. And then he has to come straight back out again because all my tie downs are in the other van and the other van is at home. So I can't tie it down. Annoyingly, I tied it up, which means I can't find anything. And at the minute, I'm looking for the DB killer and the exhaust wrap. Oh, hello. What's that? No, Scotch Brights. I don't know what I've done with her. Oh, come on. I like it being tidy, but I like it when I can find stuff. Right, plan is, I'm going to be up early doors and down here. I'm good. Oh yeah, the other thing is, the ramp that's in the back of the other van as well. So I need to bring my ramp back, so I had to borrow one from Matey down the way. And I need to bring my tie downs. And I need to find a DB killer in the morning once I've loaded it and strapped it all down. And the exhaust wrap, so I can wrap it up and we can try it. The idea is tomorrow we're just proving the new jet in. So we want to run it up and see what it goes like. We're going to leave it as is with the exhaust as we ran it before, so the noisy boy. And we just want to get the fuel in right, that's it. Then I'm probably going to see if I can find it. I'm going to shove the DB killer in it, run it up with that and see what it does to power, and then I'm going to take some exhaust wrap with me as well. We'll have the DB killer out, wrap around the end of it, you know, around the side, so there's still a hole that goes all the way through. I'm not putting that blanking plate in because it didn't really like that. And then we're going to see what it does to the noise as well. And I need to find it. Right, I'll be back. Well, the only difference is from now to last time is it's got 114s in it, obviously a fuel tank. M unit's been wired up.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff I've been doing is just like tinkering with fabrication basically, so it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, there's no mechanical change to it is what I'm trying to say, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. So we got one.
So pretty much it's same as it was, apart from the weather.
Yeah, that is true.
But I'm really not bothered about power, it's just the drivability of the thing, you know?
Yeah, well, if it's leaned it out a bit, and it was a bit rich, it should in theory have picked it up.
It should help, shouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I've got a DB killer that goes down the end of it. So I really wanted to shove that in to see what the difference was, and then because we measured it, as it is at the minute, 106 dB.
Yeah.
With the DB killer in it, 105.1.
Oh.
It sounds nicer actually. I quite like it.
Yeah.
But then somebody was also saying to wrap the end of the DB killer in blanket.
Yeah, you can do.
Shove that in there and then see what's what. Well, I don't know what to do with power. The only trouble is I can't find the DB killer. So it's like, oh bloody hell.
Yeah, it'll definitely knock it off. I found that the best way of baffling something is to have like a really, really long cam with the baffling material around the outside, so the sound sort of absorbs into it.
Yeah.
As soon as you start trying to like lessen the flow and restrict it, it just you still make power, but as it gets on the top, it just
drops off. Yeah.
Drops right off. But I suppose you can always put because you'll have to get the old what's it called? Is it the MSV?
MSVA. Yeah. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is making another link pipe, running a higher level one with a long can.
Oh, cool.
So we will be coming back again just to see what that does. Because if that's what gets it through the MSV, I mean I love the exhaust, but if I have to change it, then I'll change it, and that one will just go in the bin.
That's a waste. You could sell it, couldn't you?
Huh?
That'd be a waste though. You could sell that, couldn't you? Couldn't you?
Well, yeah, probably, but it's like. It's built for this bike, so it supports off the rear set and...
Yeah.
It'd be alright for someone's project bike, as long as they ain't got to go through the MSVA, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we might end up with a high level can yet, I don't know. Options! I could make that look quite good actually, but I do like the look of that.
Cool, I like it.
It's just different, isn't it?
I like it really different though. So the guy that I'm sponsoring, trying to as much as I can.
Oh yeah.
On his R1, he messaged me this morning, and obviously it's crucified in the costs at the moment.
Yeah.
I said, oh, what's the latest then? 760 quid for a set of tyres.
760, what, for a set of slicks?
I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, then I think he said something like, I can't remember exactly how much, but it was like 1,400 or something. He said, so for tyres, for fuel, for race entries or something, for 1 metre, it was something like 1,400 quid or something like that.
Bloody hell. When we was doing it, that was like 250 quid a set of slicks, which all right, ended up in the bin at the end of the weekend. What, 100 quid entry fee?
Yeah, yep.
Something like that?
Yeah, and then the fuel wasn't too bad back then, was it?
Well, it just depended if you did practice day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, more often than not, I'd just turn up on the day, turn up on the night before, a few beers, kid in the van, roll out the van in the morning, beer cans going everywhere, start the scrutiny and all that.
Someone take my bike to scrutiny and I can't do it yet. Oh, you might need me. doesn't seem to have that lull in it that it did.
It's on the good side of which obviously it's safe.
The airfoil's come up, but it's still red, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's down 6 jet sizes too.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's mad. And we still got that big hole, wouldn't it?
Well, that's the, where's the old one? 60, well, that's the fast old one we did. That's at the top one. You get to see it. So that's picked up, mid-range up from 23 to 35.
Sorry, the red trace is the one...
So the blue is when you came in last time.
Yeah.
And that's the one we just done.
That's definitely filled that hole in a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot more linear.
Yeah,
it didn't went like when you was running it. It didn't feel...
No.
Because like you get to a certain point, it was definitely tailing off, and it was picking up again as it went to the end. But it didn't seem to be doing that so much this time.
No. But I mean, it depends how far you want to go with it and what direction you want to go with it. And if you've not settled on an exhaust quite yet, I don't know whether it's worth going too mad with jet changes. But it's surprising because how many have you come down? 6.
6 jet size. Went from 120 to 114.
Yeah, you could still come down some more.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. You know, it's all on the safe side. But you might feel that hole in a little bit more. It's difficult to know unless you compare it to another stock one because that might just be a characteristic of the way the motor pulls. But I don't know. I thought I had another 600 on here. We looked for it last time, didn't we?
Yeah, you can find it. It's weird how it goes massively rich.
Yeah.
Where it's like just after that hump, like the lowest part of the hump, pretty much where your line is there.
Yeah.
It's really rich and it stays rich all the way.
Yeah. It's really difficult as well because you can start doing things like playing around the needle and everything just to see exactly where it'll adjust it, but that's kind of right in the middle of where they both kind of meet, you know. So you could try it, but I don't think it's worth sacrificing the rideability because that's only a wide open throw. Everywhere else is pretty good on the air-fuel ratio.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that what you was doing, where you was like sitting in different revs and just seeing what's
just
what?
trying different places and different throttle positions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It only starts to go rich like that when you're literally at wide open throttle, but it's safe like that, so, you know.
So up to about 5k, we're kind of where we was before, a little bit earlier on, but ignore that bit. So up to 5k it's kind of where it is, and then it's filled in that hole, and it's made power basically everywhere else up to red line.
Yeah, you're going to know it's more than 10 brake horsepower. But, I mean, that's huge, isn't it?
But you can't hear it like dying off or anything either.
No, it's not. It's much better. And it's gone to 65 brake now as well.
Well, it's a crappy day as well.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, so that's good.
And that's at the wheel, right?
Yeah, that's at the wheel, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to experiment, another thing you could do, as a curious experiment, if you wanted to, so you could take the pods off, just out of curiosity, and just see what that would do to the AFR, because that would be equivalent to sort of putting slightly smaller jets in it, just to see if it got rid of that little...
Oh, I could run velocity stacks.
You could, mate, yeah.
Oh, I've got a lathe, I can make them.
There you go. There is a calculation that you can do to work out the resonance, the pressure pulses for, you know, to decide where you want to have you know, sort of like a boost in the torque. If you look at different stack heights and stuff like that.
See, no, you're putting ideas in my head now.
It'd be an interesting experiment, wouldn't it?
Well, all it takes is only like Jubilee clipped on, basically.
So what have you got? You got that bit of the
that bit. There's like a metal. We'll just pull them off and give it a go and see what's what.
Yeah, why not?
Stuff it.
Yeah, why not?
We're here. We got a dyno. Right, so they're off. So what we're doing. It is really good actually. I'll see if I can't get a picture of this, but we've definitely seen improvements. Sort of 45k with basically where we was before. Then before there was a big hole. That's all pretty much been filled in now, and we make horsepower from there all the way to the top, which is sweet. It's still really rich though. I'll show you the AFR at the minute, but we is half one, I don't know, 4 AFR off, something like that. So it's still really rich. So what we're doing is we're taking these off, just as a bit of a comparison, because this is obviously a restriction, but with nothing on it, it's going to be getting the most amount of air that it could possibly get. Now, that should lean things out just a little bit. We may still be rich. If that's the case, then it depends how far we want to go. You know, but you're talking about putting even smaller jets in. It was on 120s, it's now on 114s, so that's quite a jump. But this general rule of thumb comes from Dynojet, a guy called Rich, and he reckons one change in jet size is equal to half an AFR, so we should be there or thereabouts, but we're still really rich, so it's a rule of thumb. What else was I going to say? If this works, I suppose you could turn up some velocity stacks, that could be quite cool. But the other thing that I want to do is I am going to make another exhaust. I'm going to get an anchor, even if I reuse that wish can or something, but I'm going to make a slightly narrower link pipe. We're going to take it high level on the other side and pretty much have a can here. We're going to run it like that, so there is going to be a dyno day part 4 for a couple of reasons. One is it could help the performance of the engine. We're not going to know until we start mucking about with it, but it's also definitely going to help with noise. And speaking with Crispy, a longer can with wadding around the outside does more to like stifle the noise, but you know, keep power there and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to give it a go. But anyway, that's me waffling again. I'll get Crispy back and we can give it another run. Let's see what this does. isn't horrible. It's not bottoming out, it's just lean, sort of.
Yeah.
Where do you mostly ride a bike? What revs?
Well, if I was to do a run without really hammering the throttle, and we can see what it's doing then, and if it's a little bit lean then, we might think about raising the wheels up a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, because that's one of the throttle there. So I'll see what it's like on the rest of it. Because that there's sort of fairly acceptable, really.
Yeah.
It's sort of 11, but I mean, that's bang on. You might be making some velocity stacks.
So then if I was to put a different exhaust on it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think
sweet. That is quite an improvement though, isn't it?
Oh, loads. Yeah.
And it's only took three trips to a dyno so far?
Yeah.
We are going to have to do another one though. So if I was to do, the only options we've got is one, make a set of velocity stacks, which I'll like you say, just do the ones that mimic what was in the airbox to start off with.
Yeah.
And I can do another exhaust which has got a smaller link pipe. Well, and I'll probably stick that wish can on it or something similar.
Yeah.
So that would be a longer pipe, but it wouldn't be a full length baffle.
Yeah. Just be longer. Yeah.
Because then we can still run it with pod filters, velocity stacks, with a different exhaust, and then the only other option is stuff like moving the needles up and down.
Yeah.
But then you're getting proper fussy, aren't you?
Yeah.
But until we get the other exhaust, we're not going to know which way to go with that anyway.
True. Yeah. I think once you've got the main jet buttoned down and you go, yeah, that works with the velocity stacks. Oh yeah, and the exhaust.
We're just going to have to do another one.
So many variables.
You could end up chasing your tail all day, can't you? But there's no big hole in it. So if we was to go the route of that other exhaust system, the only thing you're looking at doing is shifting the power about somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like, well, I doubt you're going to make much more, and if you are, you're not really going to notice.
It won't be a huge amount of
So really, it's just down to the fueling.
Yeah. And some people wouldn't even be necessarily looking at the AFR curve. Like I can remember back in the day, people on Dynojets, older Dynojet dynos, and they wouldn't even be looking at the AFR at all. They'd be trying different jet sizes and looking at the power curve.
Right.
Until they got it how they wanted to do it.
But then you compromise someplace else anyway.
Yeah, or it's running lean and they don't know about it and they're making loads of power, like, yay!
Awesome! Bang!
Yeah.
Okay, but as far as rideability goes, this is cock on.
If that blue run was the one that we'd finished on and it had pods on it,
yeah,
I reckon I would say that we were there with that.
Right.
Yeah, because that 14.7 where it's getting near to being 15.
Yeah.
Without seeing another one that was in standard form, I don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me if that was how it is anyway, because it's so well designed.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Yeah, totally.
Not missions so much, but fuel economy and cruise and stuff.
Yeah. Well, whoever gets the bike is getting 2 exhaust systems and a set of pod filters and probably a set of velocity stacks as well. Here's 50 different jet sizes. Knock yourself out. So, talking about jet sizes and that, then, if because like you say, I think we're there. We're just getting fussy with this other bit now. But the setup that's on there is completely specific to this bike, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Generic terms, you should be able to stick it on another Bandit with a straight through exhaust or like high flow exhaust and whatever, and a set of the pipe across pod filters, and you won't be far off these results.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get a set of these, they can give you a shout.
Yeah,
is that right?
100%. Yeah, I'm more than happy to speak to somebody on the phone and we'll sort something out and we'll go through what they've got and everything. And
Peachy. You got a website, haven't you? Because I think I pinched your logo and stuff off that before. I'll put all Crispy's details up and stuff. If you do want anything, Give the man a shout, because he's, what, 3 visits?
3, yeah.
Is it 3 here? Or was it 2 here?
3?
No, it's 2 here. 3 dyno runs in total, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 2 dyno runs, and we've gone from that to that.
It's better than 4.
Mega. Anyway, thank you ever so much for your time, mate. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Right. Right then. Home sweet home, mate. You did good. I'm very proud of you. Right. That was a really cool day, actually. What I say day, it's morning. What is the time, actually? 12:26. Best we make this quick, because I need to chip off. Anyway, I've got the dyno sheet here. I'll scan this in and I'll stick a picture up somewhere so you can see. But just to go through and explain it, we've been to Crispy's twice now. And the first one was just horrible. Really was not very good at all. So the green run that you see on this picture that I'm putting up, the green one is the first run that we done. So that was with the Dynojet kit on it that we got off Matey, which had 124 jets in it, plus the needles and the washes where they need to be, and the needles set at a certain height, and blah, 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 blah. And that should just work straight out of the box. It did work, but there was a massive hole, as you can see on this sheet, from 5.5 to ends at 7k, something like that. The bike pretty much tops out at 10.5, I think. 10.5, something like that. But there was a massive hole there. So what we then did is, on the same day, we swapped out the needles and we put the 120s in. So if you have a look at that picture again, the pink one, which is the second line up, obviously we saw a vast improvement, just by going down on the main jets, but the AFR was still bottoming out down the bottom. So again, you can see oh, Mr. Man in his, I'm explaining stuff. Right, I'm gonna have a slurp in my brew, and we'll be back once he's done one. Right, finally he's gone. He was just sat there going through his playlist, trying to decide what to listen to on the way to Tesco's. Right, where was I? Yeah, this dynograph. So, we've been to Crispy's twice now. The top curve, I'll put the picture up again so you can see, and it'll just stay there whilst I'm yabbering. So, the top graph that you see is the power curve. The bottom graph that you see is the air-fuel ratio, the AFR, okay? And they're all colour-coded the same. So, the green trace on the power curve is the green trace on the AFR. So, basically, this is spread out over 2 days, all right? The first time we was there was when we just fitted the Dynojet kit and it had the 124 jets in. Remember, the jets are specific size to Dynojet. A Kine 124 is not going to be the same size, so, you know, but it had the needles in and they were set at the correct height with the washers in place and blah, 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 blah. So the green trace is the first one that we got, and that's with the 124s. Then we switched it out and put the 120s in, because that's the only other jets I had, and we got the pink trace, which is the one just above it. You can see on the AFR it's still flatlining sort of from 5.5k to 7.5, so still massively rich, and we were still getting like a rich misfire. So anyway, today we've gone back, having got I've got some 114s and 116s, and in there at the minute is the 114s, and that's all we've run on. So the leanest jets I've got, basically. And this is where we get the next two. So the red trace is exactly the same as the last setup, just with 114s instead of 120s, and we still had these pod filters on, pipe across pod filters. And we get the red trace, and suddenly that big hole has just disappeared. If you look at the green trace from 5.5 to 7k and compare it to the red trace at the same point, that hole has disappeared. But looking at the AFR, we are still rich at that point. Okay, it was still right down the bottom there. So, Crispy being Crispy, he goes, well, let's just take these off then, just give it a go, I'm interested. What's it going to do? Because it wants more air. And without the option of putting smaller jets in, because I ain't got any, that was the only thing. So we just had those off, and then did exactly the same run again. And he was doing lots of faffing about, checking the AFR at different revs, you know, going through it in stages to see what's what. He tried rolling the throttle on slowly instead of just, you know, the dyno holding it at 3,000 revs whilst you wind the throttle all the way open, then just letting the brake off, which is basically how you run the dyno. But anyway, then we got the Blue Trace, which is the best one going. It is a lovely smooth power curve. I mean, there is no hold to it at all. AFR is still a little bit wibbly wobbly, so it could be that, you know, we need to monkey about, you know, maybe go a different jet size, maybe move the needles about a bit, you know, whatever. But power delivery on this is now just, it is really nice, and you can hear it as well. As he's going through his power run, there's no hesitation to it, it's just progressive all the way through. Still really loud though. But anyway, we had about half hour yap after that, and we do have some plans. So, I'm not going to go into them now because this video is going to be well long, I would imagine. So what I'm going to do is get this video up and sorted. I just wanted to show you the dyno run and the results that we've got on that Dynojet kit, because it works. You can run a Bandit 600 off CV carbs with pod filters, because you just can. We've just proved it. The data's there if you want to have a look at it. I'll probably do a screenshot or, you know, scan it in or something. I'll just stick it up on the community page or on Facebook or something like that, just so it's there for reference so you can see. But you can do it, absolutely 100%. We can still get it a little bit better, which is where the update is going to come in, because we've got some sneaky ideas, but I am going to need your help. So I'm going to get this video done, it'll go up, and pretty much straight away the giveaway update is also going to be available, so you'll get to see what I'm planning, what I want to do next, and what I need your help with. So if you could see that, I would really appreciate any comments that you've got. That would be most helpful, because there's some bits I just don't know about, basically. I'm learning. But anyway, Crispy is well up for supplying these kits and stuff as well. For it, I was chatting with him. It's not a money-making thing for him. He doesn't give a monkeys about that. He's sort of, you know, he's massively helping me out with this. He's not charging me full whack just because, you know, I'm putting his name up on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. But he genuinely finds this stuff interesting, and he doesn't get to cock about with carbs and do all the monkeying about and everything else. He is on the clock, so he doesn't mind running the dyno and managing all that and yapping with you and telling you what's going on. It's just that if there's any tweaks and changes to do, he'll give you a screwdriver until you get on with it, which is because he's on the clock. Do it this way, you haven't got to pay him for his time. So he's properly helping me out. And like I say, he's not doing this as a money-making thing. If you can source your own Dynojet stuff, or, you know, he's going to go through and have a look up at the part numbers for a stage 1 Dynojet kit, and also the jet sizes that we're running on these carbs, it will just tell you what it is and you can go and get it yourself. It's not about making money for him, it's about helping people out and, you know, just doing stuff that's interesting that he doesn't get to do every day, which, you know, in my book, you don't get that many grease monkeys that behave like that. It's all about the bottom line. And he properly does know his stuff, because every improvement we've seen has been all down to him. We've just followed his lead. But I'm going to put all his details up, so if you want to get in touch with him and just have a yap, say that you've been watching ASBO and, you know, mention me or do whatever you want. But he's got everything recorded as to what the setup was and what we actually got and all that sort of stuff. And he'll just tell you. And if you want him to get the bits, he can get the bits for you and then send them on to you. But that's just the way he is. I think he's brilliant. When the ASRAD gets done, and basically any bike I get is all getting MOT'd and set up and everything else to do with him, just because I trust him totally. He's a blinding bloke. Really, really cool. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for this one. Keep an eye out for the update, because I do need your help. And we will see you on the next one. Laters!